Hey guys, I'm Lorenzo, and today I'm going to be taking you through some of the features on SoundSpot's new mastering EQ, the Overtone. So I hope you enjoy it and I hope you find it useful. Let's get stuck in. Okay, so let's get right into it. So, at first glance, the Overtone looks very, very similar to a lot of hardware EQs that I've used, which is a good thing. It's a promising start. Now, the one thing that may throw people is the lack of visual representation on what you're actually doing. Now, I would say that this is a good thing. Purely because it forces you to use your ears instead of looking at EQ curves and thinking, that's okay, maybe it's not, and a lot of the time you find that you end up second guessing yourself. So with this kind of EQ, whilst there will be a learning curve for those of you that aren't used to using hardware, I think it's a very small learning curve, and it's most certainly one that is beneficial and certainly worth taking the time to delve into. So moving on to the parameters of the unit. At the top of the plugin, you can see with these little yellow icons, what you've in fact got is a function where you can choose which filter type you want. So the range is a shelf, high pass, and also a bell filter or a notch. Right next to that, you've got the bandwidth or the Q value. So the way in which this works is the 0.25 is quite a wide band, and the further you go up, the narrower the notch is. So moving on to the frequency controls. So if we look at the left-hand side of the unit, what you've basically got is two controls which cover the low end, two controls which cover the high end. These controls have got very specific frequency crossovers, and the functionality of this is notched. So rather than sweeping around through a load of frequencies and not really knowing what you're doing, the guys have researched this and found a very harmonic and musical frequency range and crossover points. So very useful and definitely speeds up your workflow. So moving forward onto the gain parameters, as standard, but in default mode, they come set to 0 dB. So simply sweeping to the left will cut, sweeping to the right will boost. Again, straightforward. The one thing that is, as far as I'm aware, unique with this plugin is the fact that cuts are transparent, and conversely, boosts will add saturation. The amount of saturation is indicated in the center window underneath the Overtone logo, and this saturation is split dependent on what mode you're in, be it stereo or mid-side. It will apply the saturation to either independently to the left and right channel or to the mid-side signal. So next up is the stereo and the mid-side settings. This can be accessed in the center of the plugin just by clicking the stereo button, and it will flip between mid-side and back again. The other really cool features are the solo channels, which will allow you to independently preview, if you will, either the left or right channel or the mid or side signal. So it makes detailed editing really quite pleasant. So next we've got channel linking. Now this is a feature which is pretty standard on a lot of plugins. The only difference with this one that I can see is what's called intelligent linking. Now the intelligent linking allows you to choose which side you want to be the master to replicate. So let me give you an example. If you're using the EQ and you've put it into link channels, if you edit the gain on the low end, so the far left low end, that will replicate onto the right hand side of the unit. On the flip side, if you were to do the right-hand frequency, one of the right-hand frequencies, that will then replicate over to the left-hand side. So you've not got the worry of clicking link and losing settings that you were happy with, as a few EQs that I've used do tend to go left to right. So if you've been EQing stuff on the right hand side and you click the left link channels button, then that's it, you've lost your settings. With this one, it's pretty cool, and definitely quite refreshing for editing. Below is the bypass button, and as with all of the SoundSpot plugins, they've created an anti-pop bypass function. So if for any reason on this unit you needed to automate the EQ in and out, you could do so without any pops or clicks. It also makes it a lot more pleasant than turning the plugin off and on and getting the nasty crackling sound that you tend to find by doing it manually through the plugin. So a little bit more about the saturation and how the saturation works. Now, according to SoundSpot, the way in which the Overtone applies saturation is dependent on the amount of signal being fed into the unit. The one thing that I was slightly concerned with was the fact that if I wanted to EQ a track and I didn't want any saturation added to it, it's already been done in the mix, it doesn't need any more saturation, what do I do then? Simple fix to that is feed it with a lower signal. The lower the signal going into the unit, the less saturation will be applied. So providing that the signal is relatively low, you can still make transparent boosts to the mix. Obviously afterwards you'll need to boost the volume back up using a gain or utility plugin or something, but again, it allows you to do transparent boosts. The saturation itself, I was worried to say, maybe I don't want to use it, but after using it and playing with it for quite some time, I don't think there's going to be many cases where I wouldn't want the saturation kicking in. It really, really does make the mix sparkle. So there we go. That's the sort of rundown of what the unit can do, all of the features and functions. It is fairly straightforward, but again, like I said, it is a learning curve, which I think reading through the SoundSpot manual is actually very well explained. There's a specific workflow to use in this kind of EQ, but I think that once you apply that workflow, it will massively speed up the process for you, and you'll get some really, really great results. So saying that, let's move forward. What I've done, I've got a track which has been given to me by actually one of the guys who produced it, who works for SoundSpot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little quick EQ and bypass in and out, so that you can hear exactly what this thing's capable of.
Ik heb lang genoeg gezworen, zonder haar en zonder huis. Ik ben geen mens meer iets beschuldigd, maar wat mis ik het geluid van een vriendelijke lach. Te lang ben ik van huis geweest, met geen mens op ziel verbonden. Maar nu omringd met warmte, heb ik mijn thuis gewonnen. Ik ben thuis en ben eindelijk verrezen boven mijn leven. eindelijk te dromen van een toekomst in het hier en nu. Ik ben thuis, ik ben eindelijk verrezen boven mijn leven. Van ijs en vuur thuis en nog eindelijk te dromen van een toekomst in het hier en nu. Ik ben Ik heb lang genoeg gezworen, zonder haar en zonder huis. Er is iemand die op me wacht. Ik ben geen mens meer iets beschuldigd, maar wat mis ik het geluid van een vriendelijke lach. Ik ben thuis en ben eindelijk verrezen boven mijn leven. Van ijs en vuur. Ik ben thuis en durf eindelijk te dromen van een toekomst in het hier en nu. Ik ben thuis.
So there you go. I'm sure, providing you were listening through a decent set of speakers or some decent headphones, I'm sure you can hear the difference that the plugin makes to the track, and also lets you see how quickly you can actually achieve this kind of sound using the workflow that's recommended. So that's it from me. I hope you find this plugin useful and enjoy using it as much as I'm enjoying using it.